And then you're gonna have to cut me
we,
off because I'm
we
just gonna
don't
keep
talk.
talking.
We're just gonna keep talking and fuck everything. We're just gonna talk until the cows come home, okay?
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay. All right, guys. If everyone's ready, this is gonna be fun. I'm so excited. I'm so pooping excited. Okay.
Okay.
Weird noises now. Okay. Hi everybody, Poop Witch X here for today's Coven Conversations, episode 19, I believe, with the absolutely amazing, beautiful, kind, sweet, creative, and funny. Okay, I'm gonna say it wrong because I just call you Xena, and I know it's not pronounced that way. Please tell me how you can pronounce it correctly. Please.
Yeah, for sure. Hello, my name is Nyxena.
Nyxena.
Lots of people call me either like Nyx, Nixie. Yeah, some people say Nyxena, Xena. I have many names, but yes, I pronounce it Nyxena.
And I just call you Xena, and I'm not okay. And I am so sorry. And every time I try to say Nyxena, I just start yelling at you and
That's
saying
fine.
Xena.
That's fine.
Xena, is it okay if I call you Xena?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Also, Xena is one of my amazing Sidequest family members, so that is also the coolest pooping thing ever. Okay, so first of all, I love you. I'm so excited.
I love you. I'm excited too. I'm shaking.
Okay, seriously, I'm not gonna tolerate you being no. It's okay if you're like nervous, but I really don't want you to. It's just me and you, and we're just canoodling. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Canoodle.
I have so many questions to ask you, but the first thing I want to ask you, because I don't know the story about how you got into streaming, so that's and then I want to talk to you about how you became a VTuber, how you created this character. I want to hear all of that. So just
Oh boy,
how did you get into streaming first and foremost?
Okay, so where do I begin? I've been a gamer like my entire life. That sounds kind of like, I don't know.
No, it's not
stereotypical, but
not at all.
Yeah, I've been playing video games like FPSs and stuff like my entire life because I had an older brother and everything.
Nice.
And I just remember for the longest time, I knew about this thing called streaming, and I just thought like, wow, that would be so cool if I could be like that with a bunch of friends, just playing games and sharing a passion that is very close to my heart with other people that really, really love gaming as well. And so I think I only know about this though because on my old laptop I found screenshots of like streaming equipment from like
Really?
2014 or like 2015. So I've been like thinking about this for a long time. I've only been streaming for like
you didn't start streaming in 2014?
No. I started streaming like almost 2 years ago. No.
Yay,
yes,
almost
like a year and a half ago.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
Yay! Okay, so you've been around. Okay, but that's actually so you've been wanting to do this for a long time.
Yes, and so
Wow.
it's actually my husband is a video editor, and he got me into sort of watching more streamers and being more involved in Twitch. So, like a couple of years back, I started watching this guy called Nags21, and just being in his stream and interacting with everybody. I met tons of my now closest friends. I got a ton of inspiration from that community to actually take that leap myself and just try streaming because, like I said, I'd wanted to do it for years before, and I was like, okay, well, why not? Let's just give it a shot.
What was the streamer's name?
Nags21. It's like NAGZ.
Did you tell them how much?
Oh yeah, all the time. All the time. I'm
so
still quite good friends with him, and we do sort of VR chat hangouts, and I talk to people in his community a lot still. So yeah, I'm still in the loop with them, and yeah, I met Bridgie Space. It's my lovely space friend. I met her through that whole story of getting into Twitch and wanting to try out streaming. So like if I didn't get into streaming, I would have met her and like Cinnamon Clown.
Oh,
They're both my
wow.
mods. And yeah, they found me pretty early on when I was streaming. I started with just no cam. It was just microphone and like game and like maybe chat on the side kind of
That's how
thing.
it, I feel like that's how you do it. People feel like they have to have the whole setup and everything. They have to know exactly who they are and what they want right
Yeah.
away. It's not like that. Most people start
No.
and down and dirty. Like
Yeah.
you're figuring your way through everything. Really, honestly, it's so true.
And then from there, it just kind of organically took off. Like I just kept watching people and thinking, how could I spruce up my own stream? What could I add? Like overlays, like emotes, like how do I make this
Yeah.
more interactive? How do I become what quote unquote more professional as a streamer? And it just, yeah, kind of
It
took
evolves.
off.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just, and I've been having so much fun ever since we started that I just keep going. I love it so much and trying new things and
Yay.
building, and that's how we got into VTubing, which actually started as a joke back when I was streaming with
Really?
no cam. Yeah,
Can you explain for like anyone who might be new to this style of streaming, like what VTubing is and how it sort of is part of this own subset of streaming? There's a lot of VTubers on Twitch that you might not have necessarily like known that there's this whole style that's very different from the other style that's more like what you see more often. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
Stereotypical. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. So at its barest bones, VTubing is essentially just using an animated character or even just an animated PNG file that moves on screen as a representative or a stand-in for a normal camera. So the stereotypical streamers that you see, they usually have like their little camera in the corner or whatever. Well, VTubers, we have our little avatars in the corner. There's a bunch of different software that people use. I'm using one called VC Face. So through like a camera, it sees me and it maps my face and movements to my character. So
Are you
it
wearing
looks like
sensors or something? Like how is it sensing your movement?
it's just facial tracking through the camera. I don't exactly know
Magic.
how it works, but yeah, it's really cool. It's really
That is
cool. I
so
almost
cool.
had to put trackers on my head. I showed the tracker on my forehead. There are some softwares that you do have to wear trackers and like suits and stuff all over you, but
Right.
for this one, that's a really simple one.
More
I don't have to
basic, kind
because
of?
I didn't want to have literally, I don't know if you've seen like VR trackers at all, like the little things with the circular thing with like little nubs on it, like to have one of those
Yeah, on
strapped
you all
to your
the
head
time. Yeah, that's a lot.
kind of hurts your noggin a little bit. So
Noggin,
yeah, and
you're so
there's-
cute. It makes me think of Finding Nemo immediately. Noggin, dude. I'm sorry.
Noggin.
Reference. Dunk. No, also, I forgot, and I knew I was going to forget. Zena, before we go any further, what are your pronouns for us? Just to make sure that it's in the...
Yeah, for sure. My pronouns are she, her.
Thank you. And even Anna, my amazing mod, said, don't forget to ask right at the beginning. And what did I do? I forgot. Okay, but yeah,
so
no, so
excited.
I know we were too excited. The hype was too real. So VTubing, so there's all different levels. So you could do like what you have, which is more, would you say like more like a baseline sort of thing? And then you can go to the more to the advanced where you're like in one of those like suits and your sensors all over you kind of thing.
Yes and no.
Oh, okay.
There's just so much out there and
Yeah.
like so many levels of the VTuber persona that you can take on that there's just all kinds of stuff. It's kind of hard to squish into a
Right.
short description, but like there's some people that get really into character and they portray this like online VTuber character. There's people like myself that are portraying basically more of themselves. Like I don't feel like I'm playing a character per se. I'm not like pretending to be a different personality. Like what you see is what you get. This is
Right.
my digital representation of me. This is like how I feel and stuff on the inside coming out basically. And
Oh,
then
that's
there's like
beautiful.
my tracking is not super sophisticated, and there's other programs that do use this sort of facial recognition tracking, but to a more animated level. So like I don't know if you can see that my face doesn't move too much, but there's some programs that let you literally move down to like the cheekbones and like the eyebrows, and like it
Wow.
looks like a real
Real
animated reacting
animated.
face, and it's so cool. Like I
Wow.
don't know if you've seen Silverveil. Her tracking is beautiful. If you guys want to see like a really
Really defined one.
detailed, realistic
Wow.
tracking, it's quite beautiful. And then it can go from anything from that to like Code Miko, who has literally a head to toe suit on,
Wow.
and like she dances around the room, and so does her avatar and everything. So there is a huge world of VTubing
VTubing.
and
And
its
that's the thing.
applications.
I actually, before you had joined the team, I had only ever crossed paths with one other VTuber in the 4 years I've been on Twitch. Because I think that like there is this, it's like a very niche group of you guys, and you all support each other, and you all really understand like how it works and how it all like what it means and all that stuff. And from me, like I literally, Zena, when you said a PING file, I went, what the heck is a PING file?
Oh yeah, so
I'm like,
it's
I am so untechnologically savvy. I literally started, I don't know if you saw me, I started giggling when you said that because it took me a second to register what you even just said. But it's true. There's this whole like nugget of VTubing on YouTube. Is there a lot more on YouTube? Did it start on YouTube, or was it always a Twitch thing?
I have no idea where it started, because I feel like there's just prominent VTubers on both
Platforms.
platforms now.
Yeah.
Like you have the whole Hololive group that's basically dominating on YouTube, but then you also have like the V Shoujo girls, who a lot of them are on Twitch here.
Yeah.
And like it's just this big universe, and even the big groups have been doing crossovers and collaborations. So it really
Wow.
is like a really cool
Yeah.
community to be a part of, and it's just such a great tool to help people express themselves and be comfortable with streaming and still have like a sophisticated personal aspect into their stream without having to like disclose their identity for whatever reason, just for
Right.
safety, if it's for just personal preferences, what have you. So
Right.
it really is awesome, and I love it a lot. And the community is so big that I've barely even touched the amount
Yeah.
of VTubers out there, and I really am trying to just find more and see
Right.
what everyone's doing. Everyone's like collabing, meet more people, and yeah, Space Friend collabs I see. Space Friend
Well,
collabs.
touching upon that, I feel like one of the coolest aspects of VTubing from my perspective, as somebody who I've never done anything like that. I've actually always streamed with a camera. I've never even taken like one night off without a camera. So honestly, it must be really freeing to just like dress like listen, I always dress like a potato, but like, like it must be really freeing in a sense to be wearing whatever you want. You could be swaddled in a blanket like a baked potato if you want. You could be doing, but you are still presenting what you feel like inside without having to sort of worry about what you look like on the outside. And that could be very freeing, especially people with like body dysmorphic disorder or eating disorders, or honestly, people like the trolling that happens on Twitch, especially for people who identify as female. It is, or women in general. It's so challenging. You get criticized if you wear too much skin. You get criticized if you don't wear enough skin. So it must be really freeing to have complete control and kind of like dictate what people see, and this is what you want to present exactly how you want it. And that's freaking awesome.
Yeah, exactly. You hit the nail on the head. Like
Yeah.
I can be not feeling my best during the day and not have the energy to like do my makeup or like put on some fancy clothes, which basically aren't part of my wardrobe anymore, because like we've been inside for the past year and a bit.
Right.
So like it's really nice to be able to just like turn on stream, be myself, and everyone is just laughing, having fun, and like we're
Right.
focusing on the stream itself and not like, yeah, am I wearing too much lipstick? Is like my
Right.
top too far down? Like, oh,
Is
this,
your
that, and
makeup
t'other.
mascara running down your face because your community
Yeah.
has made you cry for the 14th time? God damn it! No, but no, I
Yeah.
totally think I really was thinking about this podcast today, and I was thinking about how, in a lot of ways, it is very freeing to be a VTuber and to have this portrayal be what you feel comfortable with and emanate what you feel inside in a way that like we don't really get to control that much of what we look like on the I mean I guess like you to an extent,
Yeah.
right? So it's really must be a very freeing experience, and it also must help with like people who have with trolling and stuff on the internet. Like I feel like when if someone comes in and says something, would you take it personally if someone came in and trolled like the way your avatar looked, or do you call it an avatar? Or
Yeah, I call it like my avatar slash me, because like it's not really not me, but it's also not literally me. You know what I mean? It's an extension of me. It's a representation of me. And so, yeah, no, we've actually had people come in and say like, oh, your avatar's dumb, or oh, I don't like your avatar. I'm like, okay, cool. Why are you here? Like,
right, exactly.
It's like, whatever.
And actually, I think that's kind of cool. I feel like you feel like because it's you and it is you, it's an extension of you, that you get like you don't want anyone to say anything about it either. Well, let's just put it this way. Trolls should just like scurry away regardless of what they're saying or doing. But I do think that is really powerful, that it's still it's very meaningful to you, and you really
like
it's very personal.
Yeah, like it does like it when people say bad things like about my avatar or whatever, it does sort of like irk me, because it's like, ow, like that, like it is me, so like that's not very nice, like you're kind of insulting me here. But there is sort of a certain degree of separation that like they're not telling my physical body that I'm ugly or something. And I think there's just that little bit of padding,
like a buffer.
Really helps. And then you can literally just say like, okay, leave, banned, okay, and then just like carry on sort of as if nothing ever happened. But like you're not as like, because it can really affect your mindset and just your energy if someone just comes in and is being a total butthole, like the bad kind of butthole, not the good kind of buttholes
not
we
the
have
good
here. Yeah, so
love you. Not the good kind of buttholes, guys. Don't worry, she's not talking about you guys, Poop Coven.
No.
But no, I completely understand. But I do think also the level of anonymity that you have as a streamer. When you become a streamer and you use your camera, you relinquish a lot of your anonymity. And I think it's very powerful that you're able to retain such a fundamental aspect of of who you are, and you can keep yourself safe in that way. And I'm almost envious of that in some regards, because things get creepy sometimes.
I totally hear you. And I think like it's just the trade-off, because then I sort of look at you and other camera streamers and I think like, wow, I wish I could just like show myself like that and like be my 100% full self on the internet. And I feel like being a VTuber, sometimes I even get passed over for certain opportunities that face cam streamers would get, because there's that certain degree of like, oh, we don't actually know her, like who is it behind that animated girl on the screen, like can I actually like trust to partner with her, or like trust her to like follow through with her word and everything like that. So like I totally hear you, and that's why I do stick with VTubing, because I do want that just degree of like separation, private and then online life, because like I feel like if I did show my face and talk about my identity more, it would be quite easy to find me, and I don't want
Don't give them any ideas.
I just don't want to deal with all that nightmare that could come with it, especially being like a woman in the gaming space that just comes with so many
its own unique challenges. But I think that that's I like that you touched upon that there's pros and cons, and that, you know, in some regards having that level of anonymity and that barrier sort of is beneficial for your safety and your privacy, and I'm sure it really helps like your own mental health and having that you know, level of protection for yourself. And at the same time, I do understand that maybe some companies want to see behind what, but also at the same time, your avatar is an extension of you. So like they should take that at its value of what it is. But also, I want to ask, like, how did you come up with the vibe and the look? Did you get to create that? Like, how much customization can you do? Like, I'm so fascinated.
Yeah, for sure. Like, creating an avatar is literally, this is going to sound so like philosophical, but creating an avatar, you're literally creating a piece of art essentially, because if you know how to do it, you can go into Unity and completely from scratch make all of the shapes, all of the textures, all of the colors, everything. Like you can make it 100% from your own brain what you want to see. I started out with one that was Frankenstein. That's sort of the word, because there's pre-made parts on like DeviantArt
it was
and
all
stuff
together.
Yeah, so I commissioned someone to basically take some free use parts and put them together into my like first model, and it was very simple. It was actually that photo that you used of me for the tweet. It was just very simple, like black dress. I had like black high heels on, and I had my purple hair, and it was just very like basic. And I thought, oh yes, okay, that's a good starting point. But I knew that wasn't the final version. Just like you are with your own physical appearance, you kind of evolve, change it over the years. Yeah, and especially trying to find like from scratch artists, just finding my own style of.
Did you draw like is this a drawing that's been adapted to become like a 3D model, or is this like you construct it completely, almost like you would like a really high level sim?
Yeah, it's more along the sim lines. Okay. It's an actual like 3D created model that you would put in something like VR chat, but it's been exported in a certain file to be compatible with my tracking software. So this is actually like a 3D model I have, and if we go into VR chat, I can be this model as well and have like my full body tracking and like walk around.
You can like, move your arms, and you can like
move my arms, my legs, all that kind of stuff. But right now it's just in a different program used to like track.
How do you do this? This is it's so cool.
Right? Like this,
it's so cool. Much. Like how do you do? I can't even turn my computer on. Like I don't even understand. That is so. Well, like right now, could you choose the outfit you wanted to wear today, or like can you change your hair color, or like are those actually complicated things to alter?
Yes and no. I personally don't know how to change these things in Unity, because Unity is kind of a nightmare of a program. But I guess once you learn it, then you can figure it out. So if you know how to edit your own avatar, you can like go in and put on different parts and change colors and everything. Cinnamon Clown actually does a lot of the edits for me. So he helped me actually make this outfit that I have on right now, my sort of summer pride outfit.
I love it.
Thank you. And I do want to learn how to do it, because I feel like it would give me even more freedom with just like, making more models, more outfits, that kind of stuff. But it's a lot.
It is a lot.
The energy to really sink into that right now. So
what about like your background? Because you have like the cutest background. Like, is that part of the same software, or do you create that separately?
So this is actually just like an image that I pieced together. The pieces like the bookshelf, the window, the stars, the couch, like my chair, those are all just pre-drawn PNG pictures from our Gamma Witch
Nice.
on that's her. What platform is this? Like Pixiv or something. So I downloaded those. They're free VTuber assets, so anyone can go download them and sort of make
that's awesome.
like a background to it. But I did draw the purple slime you see on the shelf,
The top shelf, yeah.
the Nixus pillow right there. That's my logo, and then the little galactic apple over there.
I had a feeling those were your add-ons, yeah. Because you're also an artist. You do emote art and sub badge art, right? So how long have you been drawing?
Oh my goodness. Digitally, maybe like the last year and a bit. So I don't call myself fantastic digital artist, but I've been drawing and doing art basically like my entire life. I did a lot of like realism and shading and full body sketches and things like in school. And I kind of miss it, but I really wanted to learn digital art. So. Pardon?
Did you go to college?
Yeah, I went to university and I actually did take in an art course.
I was going to ask because you sounded like somebody who's taken an art class at college, because you were like, you did very things that, like, at least in my high school, they don't offer. So I was like, did she take a college course? Because that sounds like a college art class.
I took one course and then I never took another course because it is hardcore.
It is
like university level. Like it is like you better be cranking out stuff. Like
what is your favorite form of art? Was it drawing? Did you pursue any other? Have you ever tried any other forms of art?
I mean, drawing and shading was just what I naturally fell in line with. Like I'm very good at looking at something and drawing from it as a reference, like no tracing, no like outlining or whatever. It's like I can literally look at something and sketch it. So that was just what I naturally fell into. But I've done painting, I've done like architecture, so like building with like wood and metal things with glue and stuff. So I've done quite a few different art forms, but I mainly did drawing because I almost always had a sketchbook in my hand throughout high school, throughout university, and it just helped me actually cope with a lot of just mental health things. That's a whole other story we could talk about.
We definitely well, I'm gonna work if you can we delve into that, because I think that's amazing that you use art as a form of therapy. And also I do want to mention that Nick, I can't say anything other than Xena. I'm so sorry. I literally am incapable of saying anything. Has a Patreon with her art, so that if you want to put that in the chat, that'd be awesome. But not you, Xena, Miss Rickman. But yeah, Miss Rickman can do it. But what I think is awesome is that you use art as a form of mental health. Would you say like almost like a cathartic or therapy type of thing?
Yeah, it was definitely, especially in high school. I have some really creepy stuff from my high school sketchbooks. Like,
oh, don't we all from high school, man? Did you go through like your very like? I went through a part. Well, I still feel like there's a little kernel of me inside that's still this very angsty emo punk skater girl who was like, I was a fucking. Oh, I shouldn't have. Well, I cursed, whatever. I was a heathen. And I was really, when I was a different person when I was in high school, and I can't draw to save my life. I can't draw a stick figure, but I wrote poetry, and I actually recently found, I will not read it on stream. I found a book of poetry from when I was like 16. It is the most ridiculous things I've ever read in my life. I'm like, what were you experiencing? Like, calm down. Like, woof. But no, it's honestly like, it's an amazing thing when you get to express yourself either through art or poetry, especially during those times that are so tumultuous for so many, your young adolescent teen years. So I love that you use that as a form of therapy. And you Harry, have you looked at your old sketches?
Not recently. I think a couple of months ago I did, and it's actually like you said, very, I don't know the right word, but interesting to
you're
look
like,
back
whoa.
on it and reflect and think about what the heck was going on in my
Yeah.
head when I was
Right.
drawing these things. 'Cause I have some really creepy stuff. Like we made like plaster cast masks of our face, which is
Yeah.
also really funny because we literally stuck like straws out of our mouths and they plastered our faces with this like
Oh my
plaster
gosh, I
cast
think
to
I
make
did
them
that
old.
too.
Yeah,
But at
so
camp, I think I did that at camp actually, not at because
God.
my high school had like they had very specific art classes. So you couldn't just take like art. You had to
Oh.
take photography or you had to take sculpture, you had to take, which is cool,
That is
but also
cool.
like limiting. And I took photography every year because I was like, I want to be in the dark room. Like I mean, I'm not
Love it.
kidding. It was rough. I mean, have you ever heard of pinhole cameras?
Pinhole cameras?
You basically can
No.
build your own camera out of cardboard box with like just puncturing a hole, and like it's honestly easier than it sounds, and it captures I don't know how it worked honestly, but it captures, you leave the box staring at something and then it like makes the image on the piece of film inside. I don't know how it works.
Oh, yeah, it's like long-term exposure kind of thing, right?
And I did that. And do you know what I sat around and took a picture of? A sewer grate. A sewer grate.
It was
16-year-old
the
Haley.
prophecy. A prophecy.
Yeah, no, that was a prophecy. I was gonna have a poop fixation when I was 30. Oh my God, I've never thought about that, but it's true. I took a picture. I had to sit there for like an hour and look at a sewer grate. I mean, why? I thought it was all black and white, and I was like, oh. But no, I love that. What did you do with your face? It was like paper mache, right?
Yeah. And
What did you
so
do? How did you draw it?
Oh God, it was quite creepy. It's actually on the shelf over there. So we cut out the eyes, or they're already open because we didn't plaster over our eyes.
Right,
But
right.
I like stitched one eye closed with wire, and then in the mouth I painted like an evil portrait of myself like coming out of the mouth. And then when I mounted this like really creepily staring mask on a board, I painted it so that it looked like a demon like coming through the board. So there's like a bloody handprint on it and like this like shadowy figure in the background, and it's like sticking its head through the board. I was very troubled.
First of all, that sounds amazing, and I want to see it so badly. But like, also, God, holy moly, jeez, that is pretty hardcore, actually. But it's true. Like, angsty teenage art is a trip, man. Like, those hormones are unbelievable. I mean, and you tap into something when you're younger. I really do. There's some kind of energy that all of us are tapping into at that very pivotal age. And it makes it where things like art are an outlet for what's going on inside that we can't necessarily explain or advocate for ourselves because we don't even know what's going on. You know what I mean? And I think that's really important. Do you still use like art as a form of like mental health support now?
To a certain extent, I think. I more so did it, like I said, back in high school when I was basically first starting my mental health / mental illness journey. There was a lot of really terrible things that happened in my life and were basically the causes that gave birth to the demon mask and stuff like that.
Course,
so during that time, it was a very, very heavily relied on outlet for all those feelings, for all of that just stuff I had to get out of me because I literally felt like I was drowning in all of these things. I'll go into it later if you want me to.
Oh,
talk
you could
about
go
like,
into it now. I'm open. I just don't want you to feel like you have to share anything that you're uncomfortable with. Like you can share as much or as little as you want, but I would love to hear about your journey because you know that I'm very candid and I speak very openly about my own mental health struggles. And I think the more people that open up and talk about it in a non-taboo, non-stigmatized way, and it just becomes a normal conversation. It really is for the betterment of society, I feel like. So if you want to share, we are all ears, babe.
I will talk about as much as I can without, like, because parts of the story aren't really mine to tell. Parts are sort of like personally identifying, all that kind of stuff.
No,
but
we're a safe space, and you share only what you feel comfortable with.
For sure. I don't really know when it started, but I also don't like talking about it because I feel like a lot of it is the stereotypical like sob story, like, oh, feel sad for me kind of thing.
That is mental health imposter syndrome. Everyone, did you just witness and hear what I just heard? No, that's not fair. You don't get to tell yourself that what you experience isn't enough to be part of a long traumatic experience for you. It's your truth. It's what you endured, and you don't get to compare it. You don't have to compare it. It's you. It's what you went through, and you do not have to apologize for that. And
Thank you. I literally say the same thing to so many people, and I have like so over the years through advocacy and everything. But then I can't take my own dang advice, right?
It's hard.
See, look, you can see they're getting mad at me.
We're all gonna get mad at you because the truth is that like I get that feeling, like you feel like you're not allowed to say it because maybe someone else has endured more or different or maybe quote unquote worse. But that's just not how you know that's
I know, but I do
now
just touching on touching on that point though, like I do feel like in my life I've been very, very fortunate to have like a supportive family, a great sort of support network and support in a lot of areas that a lot of people don't, like in terms of school and just like life things. Like my parents basically always put us first, and like things like getting our driver's license or like our education, they basically paid for my entire education. I didn't have to spend anything, and that's like incredible. And I don't even know, I probably met someone while I was at school, but like I don't even know another person that has sort of a luxury like that, so I kind of feel
my parents paid for my college.
Okay.
Yeah, so if that makes you feel, my parents paid for my college, and I talk about my parents all the time on stream. Like, I absolutely love them. Literally was with them every day. They moved like 3 blocks away from me so that I could see them whenever I want, and I feel extremely lucky, like you do, to have a really amazing support system. However, I still have a severe mental struggle of anxiety disorder, and it's not because of anything. Maybe I think it might be a little genetic, a little bit. You can't listen. Parents are people. There are flaws in parents, but you don't. It's not like loving your child doesn't make them exempt from mental health issues. You know what I mean? And unfortunately, things still happen. So I'm right there with you. Yeah. Thank you. I didn't think it was possible to just love you even more, but it's happening. No, seriously. I feel you so hard. And honestly, I don't want you to say that anymore.
Okay. I won't.
Don't do it. Okay. I want to hear. Keep going.
Yeah, for sure. So just all through school, I was never very well liked. I don't know why. Well, I do kind of know why, but it sounds like I am a big heckin' narcissist when I say it. But it's because I always worked really, really hard in school. And so I basically always got the top mark in the class, like for everything. And when I say everything, that's not an exaggeration. It was
in math,
everything. Yeah, math, English, languages, sciences, social studies, like everything. All I did was school, because very early on, actually, it was in like grade two.
This is math. We're talking about math over here. Real math.
Yeah. I love math. I love math.
Oh, no, you don't.
No, I do. I love
Don't make me love you less.
It was like puzzles for me.
No, well, puzzles are fun. Not math puzzles. Jeez Louise, not math puzzles. But like, No. Okay, this is where our paths diverge.
Okay, I'll give you that one.
I love puzzles, but not math puzzles. No. Are you kidding me?
I'll tell you why. This has a good, well, not a good, but this has a reason. There's a reason why all this happened.
Okay.
I don't know if you remember, like, the Mad Minute math things, or like, I don't know what they call them. It's
I do.
like you have
I don't
a
want to
math
remember.
sheet and you have like a minute to do as many problems as you can. Yeah, those things that like everyone sort of has a bit of trauma from.
That's where my
like,
anxiety is from. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, so like those things, when I was like when I first like went to my like fancy school, because my parents wanted to put us in a fancy school, there were like the kids, the smart kids in the class were like always bragging about how they got these really high marks, and everyone was like, whoa, like you're so cool, that's so awesome, like how do you do that? And like they were like super popular or whatever, and I was like, whoa, like is that how I make friends? Like, is that how I get people to like me? Like, I just be good at stuff? Like, oh, okay. And so I started working really hard on like my med minutes, and like my scores were getting up there. And like, then one day I like got the top mark and stuff, and I was like, oh yeah, all right. And I was like, hey guys, like I got this amount or whatever. I think I just like looked at me and they were like, oh. And I was like, okay, well, maybe that wasn't cool because like someone already did it. So I'll work really hard at something else and try to be good at that, and maybe they'll think it's cool then. And so I basically did that with like every single course, and people just weren't impressed with it. But then like my family was, and my parents were really proud of me, and they're like, you're doing so good in school, like this is fantastic, keep it up, kind of thing. And so I was like, oh, okay, like maybe I can keep doing well for my family, because like they think it's awesome, I'm doing a good job. And it just kind of kept putting a wedge between me and my classmates, I think, because when they introduced things like course awards and like top academic awards, and I started like getting all these awards, I would just be met with like cold stares and glares, and like people talking behind my back about how like I didn't actually deserve any of this stuff, and
that's
blah blah blah. And yeah, it was really hurtful and upsetting, and I basically didn't really have like close friends for the longest time, and nobody would invite me to like their parties and hangouts and stuff. And so all I really had was school. Like I'd go to school, be there at like 8 a.m. We'd have like homeroom, do classes and stuff all day. And then we'd get out of class at like 3-ish, and I would do homework until like 5. Then my mom would pick me up, and I'd go home, eat dinner, and then I'd do more work from once I finished dinner to like 10, 11 at night, and then go to sleep and wake up and do it all over again. And that's just how I kind of coped. So I almost worked myself into this habit of just burnout. I think that's when it started, because I started
when did this start? Like, how young were you? What grade were you in?
Well, I started at that school in like grade 2. So
like elementary school?
Elementary school. So this has been it was like awful. 11 years of
you didn't go to one of those schools that like elementary, middle, and high school.
I did.
Those are honestly, can I just say, I've worked with children before since I was a child. I've worked with kids since I was 13, and I think those schools are some of the worst situations.
They're terrible.
For children, because like, for instance, like in your situation where you maybe like inadvertently inadvertently isolated yourself or alienated yourself. By no means was that the intention, but it was like this accidental thing that happened. It's like there's no way out for all the years, because you stay in the same class with the same group of people every year, and there's no new blood, there's nowhere to go, there's nowhere to pivot. And I always think fundamentally those schools are the
Yeah.
worst, especially for people with social anxiety or any kind of, thing where they're having trouble with their peers. It's so bad for that kind of trying to, build a foundation of friendship when you've known the same people for 10 years straight. Like, oh, I'm so sorry. And yeah, by the way, let me add him too, Cinnamon Clown. I agree. No, and I'm so sorry. That is
It's okay. It happened. It made me who I am today. Well, at least it was part of what made me who I am today. I don't regret studying that hard and working that hard, because then I was able to basically get into my dream school. And like,
can we know what your dream school is, or you don't have to share if you don't want to? Okay,
No.
that's fine. That is totally fine. That is totally fine. I was just curious because, well, maybe I'll ask. Can I know privately? Maybe I'm just curious.
Maybe
you don't have to share anything you're not comfortable with. I'm just curious because I talk about, like, I went to UMass Amherst and I got my neuroscience degree from there, and I love science and I hated math, and I love my experience in college. Did you enjoy your experience in college? Did you feel like that was a totally different?
It was amazing. I completely remade myself as a person, and that was actually my promise to myself coming out of that school. Like, by grade 12, I was so fed up with everybody. I was kind of an asshole in grade 12 because I had put up with like their bullying and remarks and like teasing and just all around shittiness for like 10 years before that. And it got to the point where I'm like, I don't care. Like, I've had enough. I literally do not care to try anymore. You had so much time to not be an absolute butt to me, but you passed that time. So I'm just going to keep my head down and keep going. And I wanted to completely just shed my skin, start anew, make friends, get out there, be a source of good in the world, because I was tired of feeling like I was drowning and being weighed upon by this invisible mass of just negative, I don't know what. So and that's why I don't want to say the name of my school, because I've actually been like published by my schools. So if I say
that's
the
totally
schools,
fine. Yeah.
So
I totally understand, and you don't have to ever share anything that you're not comfortable with. I was just curious. I feel like college. Like, I had a very different experience. My high school was enormous. I graduated with like 1,100 students.
I graduated like 40.
Yeah, I mean, it was and so for me, like, there's pros and cons, because I'm sure that, especially because you were excelling, you also had, opportunities to talk to your guidance counselor and actually have teachers, care. Whereas when you're in a school where there's so many students, you really have to claw your way to get the attention that you need. So there's pros and cons for, both, because on the flip side, if you do something embarrassing or whatever, no one cares, no one remembers, and there is enough students in the school that you'll find your clique of people. We had bullying in my high school, but it was like so not even tolerated. Even when I was in high school, it was just not tolerated. Like, I have told the story about how we had a great football team at my high school, and they always thought that they were like the best. And one of these guys were just like decided to be a jerk, and he was yelling at this freshman. He was a senior, and he was yelling at this freshman. This freshman was the size of his shoe, and I just was friggin' angsty Haley, and I did not care. And I like got in between them, and I like pushed the big guy. I had zero fucks when I was younger. Like, I just would I was ruthless when I was young. I don't pick on anyone in front of, and still don't pick on anyone in front of me now, but I'm not gonna like I got up in this football player's face. I was like, I don't know what I was doing. But it's true. I think that there's pros and cons to both, and that no matter what, if college is a path that you want to take, for many, it's a completely open door experience. You finally get to meet people who are like-minded, who are all there for the same reason usually. And there's so many different kinds of people that you get to know. And that, I'm so glad that was a very opening moment for you. That's amazing. Yeah. And that you got to, is streaming your full-time job?
No.
Okay.
I work at a tech startup and I was supposed to do marketing and communications and social media, but I do everything from HR to like, what was I going to say? Just like internal admin
Nice. Got it.
work and filing and recommendations, and I
Right.
tried to
Do you like
set up our
it or is
CRM, and it's okay. It's what I went to school for, so
okay.
I can talk about it. I can hold my own in a boardroom. I can
Right.
tell all my coworkers and managers like this is wrong, change it kind of thing. Like I
Yeah.
have a lot of confidence in myself to like say it like it is, but it's not what I'm passionate about. What I'm passionate about is like what we're doing right now, like connecting, sharing stories,
Yeah.
sharing passions, like just bringing light and conversation and understanding to the world, doing charity like you're fundraising for
Yeah.
Erica Legacy Foundation. I
Yes.
freaking love charity and just
Yeah.
knowing that like
Yeah.
me playing games and providing a welcoming and supportive environment and like sharing my story and my energy with people can literally save lives,
Right.
change people's lives, make the
Exactly.
world a little bit brighter. And like that's just so fulfilling to me.
Right.
It's been like there's been like ups and downs, of course, like on streaming journey as I like got used to being a streamer and like tried to find my own path and
Right.
room in the space. But like especially lately, I've been having so much fun with stream. It honestly helps get me through the weeks, and
Right.
I love my community to bits. I love the poop coven as well. I always lurk in at late night
You're so
after
sweet.
everything, and
Yeah.
it's just
It's a
yeah,
Twitch
I love it.
streaming is an amazing place, and I think the more people that are like you and like the side quest teammates and all those people, the more that is becomes the new norm on Twitch, like the better, because we were talking about this last stream, there's still pockets of Twitch that thrive off of toxicity,
Oh God,
and
yeah.
they really just need to be weed whacked out. Like it's enough already. I think that the world is hard enough. There shouldn't be places that are
Yeah.
allowed to or even tolerate even any kind of
Yeah.
bigotry, racism, homophobia. Like it's enough. Sexism, all the isms, like enough. And I think that the more that we talk about these things, the more that we have safe spaces, the better that Twitch will get. And going back to something that Chris said is like, what do you feel like the people you went to high school with, and the people, even like that guy, that football player that I went to high school, well, there was a lot of people, but like, do you feel like people will fundamentally change? Like, do you feel like that the jerks that were jerks in high school will stay jerks? Or do you believe that like at a certain point, like, do we grow out of that mentality? Because high school and that meant that youth adolescent brain has a lot of stuff going on in there, like we talked about earlier. So do you think that, like, have you touched base with anybody from your high school? Like, has anybody changed?
I have.
Have you
But
seen
this
progress?
this is a loaded question, so I'm gonna unpack it.
Okay.
No, not in the sense
Yeah.
that like you're trying to like get me to say something particular, but like there's just
Yeah.
a lot I want to say about
Yeah.
it. From a more open-minded sort of spiritual stance as I've taken in the recent past, I do believe people can change. There's no reason why people can't change. I feel like the reason why people are toxic or people are trying to spread hate and hate on others is because they're lacking something. They are lacking some form of love and fulfillment and like passion to be like a good human in a sense. And they will keep perpetuating that negative behavior as long as they feel that sort of void and that sort of hurt. So if they do come across something that suddenly changes that for them, I like 100% believe that they can and will change because humans are interesting creatures, but I don't think we do things for no reason. Even if we don't consciously know the reason, there
Right.
is usually a reason. So
Always.
like I definitely think like people from the past, like high school, whatever, they have changed, they have grown, or at least they probably have. There's also people that can just never find that thing that will fulfill them, and they just keep being
The
negative
bullies
and
and
whatever,
negative,
and
right?
that's really unfortunate. And I hope that those people can find that sort of peace and love, because being that negative all the time just drains you. It just
Oh, for
drains your
sure.
soul. It's not healthy for them
It
or
drains
anyone
the
else.
people
But
around you too when you
yeah,
have
exactly.
I like that you use the word void, because in a lot of ways it's like a black hole. Like it will
Yeah.
take in the energy around you as well, and you will spread that toxicity to your family, to your children. And then unfortunately, kind of, touching upon bullies in general, a lot of bullies when they're young are
We're
because they're
bullied.
bullied, like
Yeah.
their older brother, sister, their cousin, their father, their mother, their aunt, like somebody in their
Mm-hmm.
life of some way is bullying them, and then they are getting literally a void punched into them, either emotionally
Yeah.
or hopefully not anything, but physically or whatever. And then
Yeah.
they are filling their void by trying to bully someone else, and it's unfortunately
Exactly.
a cyclical thing, and it really can be stopped, but you have to rip it up from the root, and that
Yeah.
is
Like
the hard part. Yeah.
the person who's hurting has to make an active decision
Right.
to say, no, enough is enough. I don't want anyone else to have to go through what I went through. And that's, I think, what happened with me is I could have been a completely bitter, toxic person coming out of like literally 11 years of my life of
yeah.
just hellish things. But I said, no, I want to be the person for other people that I didn't have. I want
Right.
to help lift people up. I want to help people realign themselves with why they want to be here and be human and create and connect and like live life. And it's so hard though to try and convince someone to do the same, because there's a lot of just really heavy stuff that happens. And
sure.
like we just need to do what we can, I think, like
And I think
help
that
each other
also
out.
the fact that you had a support system at home with your family probably helped you stay on the path of being that person who wants to give back and be kind. But
Yeah.
and that, because honestly, can you imagine if you had your school life, which was obviously terrible, not scholastically of course, but like socially
Yeah.
was very stressful and painful for you, and then go home and not have any help there either? That is a horrible
like
situation.
I can
Yeah.
actually pretty much tell you that I don't think I would be here still if I didn't have my family. There was a very, very dark part of my high school life where I didn't want to get out of bed. I
Right.
didn't eat. I barely slept. I didn't really drink anything. I was just sort of lying there thinking like, is this it?
Right.
Like,
This is all
what's
that
the
life will
point?
be. And
Yeah.
that is so important. And I've talked to Chris about this so many times. I've talked about with the Coven. The thing is like so much of like what you experience is so close to home for what so many other people experience, in that like, is this all it's going to ever be? And when you have a lot of like young adults and adolescents who are in the thick of it, like you were, some of them don't realize that it does get better and it does end. There is an end. It doesn't feel like it's in sight, but there is an end. And I think you advocating, look, I'm on the other side of it, like I came out of it, is so important. Like it's so important that those stories get shared and that people know that like, yeah, I was in the thick of it like you are. And I thought, is this it? Is this all it's going to ever be? Because I can't live like this. And because of the support of your family, or maybe for others is not their family. Maybe it's the reverse. Maybe it's their friends and not the family, whomever, or if it's a foundation or a stream or a community, whoever's supporting you, they'll tell you it gets better and they'll be there for you. And, it's, even if it's 11 years like it was for you, it was still temporary. You know what I mean? Like, but you still walk around with those scars inside and they don't go away, but they heal over time. And then you can flourish like you are and have a job that you went to school for, and a stream community, and you can do things. And that's why it's so important that like your stories and other stories get told. Like, you know, Wiki talking about how a bunch of people at her school, you know, made a private Facebook making fun of her, and that 8 years later, it still hurts. But it still hurts. But those people, like Wiki said, it was based off of jealousy, because just like you said, Xena, she was smart and she got, you know, roles in theatrical performances that they wanted. And so a lot of, like, again, what we're talking about is a jealousy or a void they're trying to fill, which is the same thing. Jealousy is just a different kind of void. So, yeah, I think it's really important that you know, are advocating for those things. And I'm so happy that you're like, you're kicking all the booties.
Thank you. Amazing. And I do want to add to that, though, that like, it's also important to share that even though on the outside and in my day-to-day and like on stream and everything, it looks like I'm just flourishing and being powerful and accomplishing things, but I've actually dipped down more into my past trauma and everything and learned more about it. And I've actually been getting even more side effects of it recently. And it's still an incredible struggle just every day trying to manage my anxiety, manage my PTSD, like make sense of it all. Like that's a new thing. Like I legitimately, like it's not officially diagnosed like my anxiety is, but I'm pretty sure I do have PTSD because seeing the names, faces of these people, immediate panic attack. I have dreams. I have vivid dreams of these people, not necessarily the same situations I've been in, but like similar scenarios play out, and I wake up literally like having a panic attack again, and it takes like all day for me to calm down and sort of get out of that headspace. And this is like happening like almost every other day, every week kind of thing. So it does not, just because someone looks like they're put together on the outside, you never actually know what they're dealing with day to day on the inside. And that's what I always try to just gently remind everyone every day, is just be kind to people. Like think twice before you react to something that maybe sort of came off weird from someone. You never know if they just like meant it a different way, or if like you're sort of reacting based on what you've experienced, and just sort of using that time to reach an understanding and just like question people and be like, hey, like what did you mean by that? Like I'm sort of curious as to like why you said it like that. And I think oftentimes that'll diffuse things and allow us to sort of move past the awkward, oh my god, what if they think I'm super weird or bad now, like oh my god, I didn't actually want to say that, but it's out now and I'm just kind of like dealing with it and like so kind of thing. So like, no,
but that's so important. Is that just like you know, like I say the same thing, like you don't know, everyone's walking around with a backpack and you don't know what's in their backpack, but everyone has it. And some people's backpacks are super heavy, like 1,000 pounds, but it could still look like the same backpack you're wearing. And so the thing is like, I completely agree with you. You don't know what people are going through. You don't know how hard it is for them to just walk around with their 1,000-pound backpack. Just them getting out of bed can be an amazing feat of power and determination that day. So I completely agree. And I think the world would improve immensely if people would just give people some breathing room, man. Like, that's just be kind first. Like step out and be kind. That's like, I don't know, you know, and I think that it's amazing that even with you being so, you know, candid and sharing your journey, I think what's amazing is like, you're also saying like, listen, this is something that I'm still enduring years later, and it's still something I'm working through, but I'm working through it. And that's pretty much the most important part of everything, is that even though it's still something that's a part of you and will always be a part of you, but you are still fighting the good fight and trying to make yourself, you know, understand what you went through and like be the best version of yourself that you could possibly be. And that's a testament to, you know, your own inner strength, you know? So
Thank you.
You're amazing.
Yeah.
You're amazing. Big cheers over here. Big bang. Yeah, no, you're amazing. This really speaks in fact to the Erica Legacy Foundation logo, the open. Yes, Chris, absolutely. That is so powerful. The open Enzo and open Enzo, I don't know if I'm saying that right, may express the idea that the Enzo is not separate from all that is, rather it is part of something greater. The open circle reflects this and speaks to imperfection as an essential and inherent aspect of our existence. Yes. Snaps for that. Yes. I love that.
And like going back to like what we were saying about the whole recovery and imperfections, and actually back to that question that you said about do you think people can change? Because the enlightened part of me will think like, yes, they probably have. They've probably gone through a bunch of growth and reflection, and maybe a lot of them even regret how they treated people and how they acted in high school and everything. But there's a part of me, and I think it's the very like, it's like the child, your inner child, that's telling you like, no, don't forgive them. They hurt you. They did you wrong. Don't go anywhere near them. And I think it's important to hear out that side of you and acknowledge that it exists.
Right.
And you don't have to forgive people.
No, not at all.
You don't have to save space for people to apologize. You don't have to reconnect with people. If they've hurt you, you have every right to
just move
cut
on.
them out of your life and move on, which is what I need to do, because it's been this long and I still can't I can't look at these people. Like I literally cannot look at these people whenever someone messages me. I just can't. Like, I've stopped using all of my personal social media because I don't want to see them, because I'm still trying to just like process everything that happened, especially in contrast to how my university life was and just how much of a 180 that was, and just sort of that like trying to stop that resentment from building and saying like, why did they have to treat me like this? Like I wasn't the problem, and like all these sort of like selfish thoughts that I think are fine to process, but I need to let go of them. I need to feel them and then let them go out into the ether and exist out there, and just move on and focus on moving forward. And I think
100%.
that's okay. So I don't have to forgive these people, but at the same time, I'm not going to treat them poorly. I'm not going to disrespect them. I can like rant with my close friends when I'm feeling particularly like snarky about it sometimes, just to like get it out of my system. But I don't wish badly on any of them.
And you don't want to hold that either. You don't want to hold that and carry that.
Because it's heavy and it poisons me. It poisons my mind and clouds my judgment and interactions with people currently around me. And it puts me back in that sort of like survival mindset. So just allowing it to come and go is like forgiveness for myself, basically. It's like I forgive myself for feeling this. It's not necessarily wrong, but it's not something I want to continue holding. I need to let it go for my own peace.
Absolutely. And that is 100%, like, no question, unequivocally, like you don't owe them anything. Like, no. You don't owe them anything. You do not. And I'm sorry, I'm the angsty 16-year-old Haley's coming out, but you don't. Like, I am somebody who I will forgive people over, like, literally. I have friends that I have probably forgiven hundreds of times, and I give them 300 chances. But they were like, you know, these were friends that, like, you know, while we grew up together, they've done dumb things that hurt me, and I've forgiven them and we've moved on. I don't forget the things that they've done, but we've grown up, we were young. These people, it doesn't sound like I don't know for the most part, but it doesn't sound like these people were ever treating you like a friend. It sounded like they were just treating you poorly and ostracized you. And so you, sweetheart, do not owe them shit. You don't owe them anything. You survived. That's what you did. You just survived the time with them. And if anything, they owe you an apology, and they owe you the healing that you deserve. You don't owe them anything. And you don't have to think that, you know, like even any of your thoughts, any resentment you hold, or like, why did you do this to me? None of those are wrong. And none of those, not even close, not even in a long shot. Like those feelings are totally natural and totally, in my opinion, I feel like, you know, normal is a weird word, but like I would feel the same way. And I think that that's, you know, I think it's just a testament that you survived for many years with people who did not treat you well. And, you know, I'm glad, for one, that you're still here. And I'm glad that you are, even though you are still going through stuff and working through stuff, that you, and I'm going to say it, I still think that you're flourishing. Even if you're struggling with other things, you're still flourishing. It doesn't matter if you're, what level of struggling, you are still here and kicking butts in so many different ways and trying to help others. So I 100% think you're doing amazing.
You're going to cry.
I don't you dare, because if you cry, then I'm gonna cry, and we're all gonna cry.
We're all gonna cry.
Yes. I think that's the bottom line. Is I completely agree. I'm all about forgiving, but you don't ever have to forget. You do not ever have to forget. You can keep it locked away somewhere and go, okay, all right. No, I got you. I see where you're at. I forgive you. We can move forward, but it's going to sit in the back. And if you do it again, or in my case, again, and then again and again, but that's my own issues, because I call myself a pathological people pleaser. That is something that I'm working on. And that's a hard, you know, there are qualities that people think are endearing, like being a people pleaser, that is also really detrimental at the end of the day. People take really bad advantage. So there's pros and cons to everything, and there's a way to look at the world, if you want to, glass half full or half empty. Just your perspective on things. You know what I mean? Everyone's going to cry. We're all going to cry. Group cry. Let's do it.
I'm not crying.
Zena, this was an amazing episode, and if you can believe we've talked for an hour, I don't, because time literally does not exist. Flew by. But just because I feel like this is becoming a thing, I did it with Ryan, and now I want to ask you. When I have a random question pop into my head, I'm just going to start asking it. What is your favorite cereal?
My favorite cereal? Oh, no.
Yes.
I don't know. It depends on my mood, but the first two that popped into my head was either Lucky Charms or Reese Bites, like Reese's Pieces.
Reese's Pieces or Reese's Puffs?
Reese's Puffs. There we go.
Okay, two excellent decisions. And can I just tell you how weird I eat my Lucky Charms? I eat all of the like crappy cereal. And then I separate my marshmallows into matching categories, and I eat them from the least amount of the marshmallow to which one has the most. Interesting.
See, I would go the other way. I always eat the one with the most, and then like if it's like a rainbow, like I do this with my Smarties. If it's like I have a complete rainbow, I will eat the ones with the most first, and then once one of each color is left, I'll go backwards through the rainbow.
That's so funny. And I, with my M&Ms, I do the same thing where I pile them in colors, and I eat two at a time, and I have to eat them from least to most. Even though brown tastes the best, it doesn't matter. I'll eat the brown first, even if I want to save them for last. I can taste M&Ms, like the color that they are.
Wow. Yeah. Okay.
But only with M&Ms. Only with M&Ms, and it has to be plain M&Ms. It's my magic trick. It's my one magic trick.
Yeah, you'll have to talk me through the flavors sometime and give me a description of this magical power that you have.
Yellow tastes like crap, and brown, red, blue are the best. Green, orange are okay, and yellow tastes like trash. I hate the yellow ones.
Trash.
But I'll still eat it. Yeah,
you say trash, by the way. It's my favorite thing.
You're so sweet. You are, honestly, Zena, thank you so much for joining us and being so open and sharing your experiences. I'm so honored that you took the time to talk with us. And is there anything else you want to share with us, Zena?
I guess that I'm always down to talk about these kinds of things. I love these conversations. If you ever want to chat with me again, I would be honored, and I would love to do it.
Take part 2 coming through, guys. Watch out. And then next
Thank
time it's
you.
just going to be us squealing at each other for an hour straight, okay?
Yes,
Everyone
exactly.
that sounds like a plan. Okay, tonight, this episode, I think you were number 19, Xena. Can you believe that?
Wow.
Holy snoop.
That's amazing.
Of Coven Conversations, I am Poop Witch X. You can find me on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday at 10 p.m. Eastern. This is twitch.tv/NYXENA_T. What's your stream schedule, Xena?
I do Tuesday, Thursday at 6 p.m. Pacific to about 10 p.m. Pacific, and I do Friday mornings from 11 a.m. Pacific to about 3 p.m. Pacific.
There it is, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much again, Xena. I am so grateful for your kindness and your openness, and we'll have to do it part 2 soon, baby.
Yes. Thank you so much for having me and for holding this space. Thank you
so much. See you next time, guys. Bye.
Bye.